And so that's kind of where we got the name from, our cheesy family name. It was the No Regrets family. It sounds cheesy, but it's like something that, we truly believe in. We don't want to look back when we're on our deathbeds and say, why did we not do it?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Nailed it.
There's a few of you who have just recently subscribed, so thank you and welcome to our family. We just want to share a little bit more about ourselves and kind of what we're up to, why we're traveling as a family. We want to make this like a travel, YouTube channel, but it's also about our family and where we're at and where we came from and what we're about. So yeah, if you're into that, then keep watching. If not, then tune in a few days from now. So my name is Rick.
Hi, Rick. I'm Alana.
And so we have 2 sons, Winston, who's 3.5. We have Finn, who just turned 1 about a week ago. We're from Canada.
Yes, we're from Manitoba. Those of you who don't know, that's right in the middle of Canada. It's not Vancouver and it's not Toronto. It's somewhere else.
So about 3.5 months ago, we left our home and we've been traveling ever since. We've started off in the States and then went to New Zealand, Australia, Southeast Asia, Dubai, and now we're in Turkey. Before we left in January, we sold basically everything we owned. We sold our house, we sold a vehicle, and we sold basically all of our belongings. There you go. So a secret to getting rid of all your stuff is just to throw it in the box and never look back. So before we left, I wrote a blog on our website that kind of explains my perspective on why we're doing this, my background for the last few years and what brought us to where we are now. So I won't get into like all that detail in this video, but check out our website and you can read a little bit more about kind of what my background is and how I've ended up here. Right?
Yep.
So a question we get asked every once in a while is why? Why sell everything and take your 2 young kids and travel?
Yeah.
Some people are very skeptical of that idea. Some people are curious. Some people think we're crazy, and that's fine. But why would we do it? So a quick answer to that is, in my own words, is like, we believe life is very short. And for us, we're in a transition of like career, transition of the age of the boys. That made sense to do something like this.
Yeah.
And so there's a few things that lined up for us to be able to justify and to rationalize this decision and make it happen. It just so happens that we are very passionate about traveling and seeing different parts of the world. And so this was the decision we made. It's something we talked about for a number of years, and it just kind of lined up to do it at the end of last year.
It seems crazy to a lot of people, but it's not that crazy when the timing is right. Yeah, it might be crazy if both of our boys, I shouldn't say this because a lot of people do this at any point in their lives, but if both of our boys were in full-time school already and Rick had, just committed to a new job and I had a job, like all of those things would factor into it probably not being a great time to sell everything and travel the world. But for us, Rick had just gotten out of business and was kind of looking for the new thing for him and for us as a family. I was just at home with the boys, so I kind of feel like I'm just along for the ride anyways. But I took my job with me, so stuff like that didn't really change a whole lot for me. I just get to do my job on the road, and I get to have my husband with me. So it's a win-win for me, really. Yeah, so the timing for us was huge. It was huge.
Yeah, I think it's like, it's so easy to look at something like this as like a huge deal. Like if you picture yourself selling everything and traveling the world for, you know, an unset amount of time, it seems like a crazy idea. But I think if you fast forward 20, 30, 40, for some of you even 60 years from now, and you look at the little, you know, microcosms of time that you had, you know, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, I think you'll probably find that it wasn't a big deal, and that, you know, if it's something that you're passionate about, and you kind of just took that leap of faith and did something that you're truly passionate about, that you'll probably not regret it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where we got the name from. Our cheesy family name is the No Regrets family. It sounds cheesy, but it's like something that, you know, we truly believe in. We don't want to look back when we're on our deathbeds and say, why did we not do it? And so that for me is as simple as that. It's like black and white. If there's something that I'm going to look back on and kick myself for not at least trying, I'm going to regret that. And so, I mean, you can't be, you know, ruthless in your decision making. Like we went through a very in-depth process of making this decision, and it just came down to, yeah, we got to do it. Now's the time, and we don't want to look back and regret not doing it. So, you know, 50 years from now, if I look back, will I have regretted doing it, or would I have regretted not doing it? And because it's something we're passionate about right now, I feel like we would regret not doing it. So it's black and white for us.
It's the same route I took, thought process I took with having kids.
Yeah.
It's like, am I going to regret not having kids, or am I going to regret having them? That might sound really weird to a lot of people. But I really was on the fence about having kids. And it came down to that, ultimately, that decision. And that was, you know, I'm probably going to regret not doing that. So.
Yeah, so we went through a few months of decision making to do this. It involved like I created like a spreadsheet using, if you heard of the book called The 4-Hour Work Week. I read that book, and out of it came some pretty clear takeaways to like help make major life decisions. And so for me at the time, it just made sense to apply those to where we were at. So I made a little spreadsheet and basically mapped out, you know, what am I afraid of? What is my goals or passions or dreams? What am I risking to do those things? What are the chances of it failing? You know, what's the likelihood of it succeeding? What's the worst case scenario? What happens if it fails immediately? What do we do to kind of pick ourselves up again? So we answered those all very, very precisely and separately. So we didn't do it together. We did it separately. And in the end, we gathered our results and our answers, and they were basically the same. And so that was another green light for us, because at that point, it's like, why would we not do it?
One thing a lot of people have commented on, when we told people we were going to do this back home before we left, some of our mentors and friends and stuff had said, well, it's incredible that you're both on the same page about this. And that was the main thing for us. If one of us had been pulling the other one in one direction, you know, it wouldn't have felt right. And so after doing that homework that Rick made me do, a little test that we did, and seeing how similar our answers were, was definitely, like you said, the green light that we wanted to see.
Yeah. Another thing is, I wrote about this in my blog about how too many people wait for everything to line up perfectly to make some of these major life decisions, and I think that's overrated. Like, I think it'll bite you in the end if you wait too long, or if you try to expect everything to line up before you do something like sell everything and travel the world, or go after that new business idea, or have kids, or whatever the case. Like, the timing seems to never be perfect. And so the best thing to do is just start. Whether that's take out a spreadsheet and put your thoughts down, or if it means selling that first item or putting that for sale sign on your front yard for us, or applying for that job or whatever it is, I think, you know, don't wait till everything has to be absolutely perfect before you do it. Like, that's all it took for us. Like, all it took, once we knew we were going to do it, like, we could have sat around for months, and it ended up being years thinking, man, should we do this? Should we do this? But all it took was telling our real estate agent, yep, put up that sign.
Yeah.
And then there was no turning back. And yeah, it's like super scary in the moment. But, you know, if you evaluate, I think, you know, continuously evaluate how you're feeling,
Right.
and you feel kind of at peace about it,
Yeah.
but it's still scary,
Yeah.
then just keep going.
It was exciting and scary. So as long as your excitement and your positive emotions are outweighing kind of the anxiety that you feel, that I felt,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good sign.
Yeah. And make sure, you know, for me, like, I rely a lot on like mentorship, whether that's friends, family, other mentors, to bounce ideas off of, get feedback on, say, hey, am I crazy here? Like, that's something that I did a lot, and it was just like a game changer for me to in those moments of feeling like, oh, is this crazy? Those conversations really helped me hone in on like why we're doing this, and, you know, does it make sense, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And a lot of people, I think, responded in a way like, oh yeah, like, totally makes sense that you guys would do this. You know, like, people who knew us kind of figured it was kind of a natural thing. But, so that was positive feedback as well. Yeah.
So yeah, that's more of the why in the background. Read our blogs if you want more info on that. We could make a whole like series on this discussion probably.
Yeah.
Actually, there's one idea I've had, which, because we've had so many people ask us like how we made this decision, I would like to share that process more in depth with people like who are struggling to make major decisions. So if you're interested, maybe write in the comment or email us and say like, yeah, I want some more info on that spreadsheet or whatever, because I think it'd be fun to help other people out with that, if I can help in any way or whatever.
Well, Rick's background is, I mean, you've always kind of been in leadership roles in terms of business, and so he just kind of takes a natural.
I don't know. I don't see myself as anyone that's super qualified, but it's just fun.
No,
it's just enjoyable.
You're not, but he's a natural leader in terms of just being. He's a great listener. He's really. I've thought about this so many times I can't word it out now. You just have like a way of meeting people where they're at, and I think that makes you really approachable, and you enjoy it too. Like, I think you always have enjoyed, you know, talking to people, but also being able to lend advice, or you're a good consultant. Professionally and personally, I think you thrive in that department. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm happy to share that kind of spreadsheet and that process of what we went through. If for some reason you think it would benefit you in any way, just let me know. Reach out.
Yeah, it helped us a ton, and I would do nothing if it wasn't for him. So I would still be at home watching Netflix with the boys. So.
So a very simple answer to that is, well, the biggest one is we sold everything to travel the world. I mean, that's kind of what people have known us for or whatever. And that's a big part of it. Like, we had savings and stuff, and we have a certain, you know, amount that we're not touching for traveling, just so you understand. We're not like draining every dime we have to travel, but we are using a lot of the money that we made selling our stuff to fund our travels. Another way we're funding our travels is I'm working part-time. My background is business and sales and marketing, and so I'm still working for a company back home, and very part-time, helps pay the bills, and I'm still plugged into the company back home in that way. So yeah, it's a good thing. Another like minor, small contributor to funding our travels, or at least maybe helping on the budget, is we've had a lot of discounted accommodations, and that's simply through, it's not like because we're big influencers or anything like that, but it's simply because you ask. Like on Airbnb, for example, we're booking very last minute, and so a lot of the time we simply say, hey, we're looking to stay here, your place is perfect, and we know it's last minute, would you be willing to meet our budget, which is in with this range? And like 70% of the time it works, because they wouldn't have maybe had those rooms filled, or the house filled, or the apartment filled.
Yeah.
So it works for them because they're getting a last minute booking, and it works for us because we're getting a great place for within our budget.
Yeah.
And then we've had a few kind of collaborations with a few companies to get either like super cheap accommodations or like free activities and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of it. We're not millionaires, you know. We're not. We didn't inherit any kind of crazy money. We just
didn't win the lottery.
Yeah, I mean we've been pretty smart with budgeting and planning, and I know to the penny what we're spending every month and what our budget is. So yeah, it just works.
I don't. I just go with the flow.
If you have any more questions about how we fund our travels, then just reach out and we can answer more.
As every parent knows, kids are challenging, and they're challenging whether you're at home or you're traveling. They're going to be your biggest challenge in life, usually. So honestly, I think my low and terrible expectations of how things would go really helped, because it has been a lot easier than I thought. They have done so well, and they've adapted so easily to new surroundings and different places and different food and different schedules and everything. So having low expectations really helps with that. But we definitely have challenges for sure.
I think a lot of the challenges just so happen to be happening while we're traveling. Like,
right.
Winston is now 3.5. Yeah, any 3.5-year-old is going to have their issues. And so we're experiencing that with him a lot of the time, and it just so happens we're traveling. So I think if we were at home and he was going through this like stage in his life, the only difference would be that we have family who can like give us some time away from them.
Yeah, the biggest challenges are really just little things in the moment. For me as a mom, I find little things like I've got a bunch of pooped in baby laundry, and I don't have a quick way of doing laundry, or feeding Finn, not having a high chair and trying to give him solids. It's just been a nightmare. It's just little things in the moment that seem challenging. In the end, it's not the end of all things, but yeah, otherwise it's just getting used to being full-time parents 24/7, not really having any time away from your kids together.
We do get the odd break, being like an hour here and there when we like take over different, like today she did yoga for an hour and I had the boys at the playground.
Do what you have to do.
Yeah.
Just to get away for a little bit. Other than that, the biggest challenges are just your day-to-day challenges with children. Just normal stuff.
Yep. Kids will be kids.
I
I had a friend ask me how our marriage was.
And
recently.
I have a friend too.
And I thought that was a really nice question. Very valid question, actually. And yeah, because you're spending so much time together. Rick and I have actually worked together in the past. We worked in the same room basically for like 3 years. So we don't really have an issue, the two of us. Again, it's just knowing each other well and being sensitive to each other's kind of needs. We're doing fine. Thanks for asking. It's all good. Okay, so...
Sorry about that. Winston loves to be in front of the camera, but he doesn't know how to function in front of a camera yet. It's actually super annoying, but we'll just leave it at that.
It's just a 3-year-old in
Yes.
front of the camera, you can imagine. getting really long, so we'll wrap it up.
So if you're still watching this, good for you. This has been a very
God bless you.
this hasn't been a super interesting video, but we just thought it was good to do this. We'll probably do more of them in the future.
Yeah. We just wanted to get that off our chest. Just kind of let everyone know where we're at. We're loving it so far, and it feels like we just left.
Yeah.
And we don't want to stop. So we're going to keep going. We're excited to see more of Europe in the coming weeks.
Thanks for subscribing. Thanks
Yeah.
for watching.
Thanks a lot. That means a
And
lot.
feel free to ask more questions down in the comments, and we'll get to addressing those at some point in the future. Look out for our next video. We're going to be highlighting our time here at our resort.
This might be the only resort experience of our entire travels. I didn't think we'd end up at an all-inclusive resort, but here we are, and it's been really great. Tune in to see what he said. Okay.
All right, thanks again.
We're gonna go eat now because we're at an all-inclusive resort, and by eat I mean eat dessert only.
All right, that's it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.